What it do, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Elijah James from Elijah James TV, and today I'll be bringing you guys another breakdown of this week's NFL game. Today we'll be taking a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Pittsburgh Steelers happening this Saturday at 7 p.m. So to give a quick overview of both teams, let's first start with the Steelers. They're coming off of a 10-7 season, finishing second in the AFC North, only behind the Baltimore Ravens. While the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're coming off of a 4-13 season in the AFC South, finishing third only in front of the Titans. So it's kind of been a rough one for the Jags. But let's see what both teams are talking about for this Saturday. So let's first take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who will be traveling down to Jacksonville. Steelers are traditionally a playoff team. They won a Super Bowl way back with Ben Roethlisberger. But ever since then, Coach Mike Tomlin has been a consistent playoff coach. He's going to the Hall of Fame eventually. But it's kind of getting old now. A lot of people are getting tired of the one-and-done playoff run. So they're expecting big things, especially with them getting Aaron Rodgers this year. They got DK Metcalf. They got Jalen Ramsey. So, they got some expectations this year. So with that being said, when I started doing my research on the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not looking too good, man. That's just my personal opinion. During the press conference, Coach Mike Tomlin already came out and said who is not playing on Saturday. And that will include, I'm looking at a list, so bear with me. Aaron Rodgers, DJ Metcalf, Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, Jalen Warren, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay, Patrick Queen, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt. He's playing absolutely nobody. You're not going to see anybody that you would see on a regular Sunday playing this Saturday. So be prepared to see Mason Rudolph under center. We'll get to Saturday's game in just a bit, but let's talk about what we're expecting from the Pittsburgh Steelers in the actual regular season. According to reports, they're expecting a big year out of running back Jalen Warren. He had a big season last year and the year before that, kind of taking some shine away from Najee Harris. And we see Najee Harris is now with the LA Chargers, so they're expecting him to step up and be RB1. And rightfully so. I've seen a lot of flashes from him 2 years ago, even when he was in the preseason game, and he has RB1 potential, so expect a big year out of Jalen Warren. I like him a lot. The backup running back is going to be Gainwell, who came over from the Eagles, and I think we all have common knowledge about Gainwell. He's a quick scat back. He can catch out of the backfield, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a 3-down back, but he's a good backup running back to Jalen Warren to, take some of the load off of him. As for the receivers, we know the big story. It's going to be DK Metcalf. We don't really have to explain DK Metcalf. The man is a freaking bodybuilder that's playing wide receiver. We don't got to go into much detail. However, wide receiver 2 is expected to be Calvin Austin III. Steelers are expecting big things out of him. They think he's going to really impact the passing game. Giving DK Metcalf, taking some of the pressure off of DK Metcalf, giving Aaron Rodgers a second option. Now, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, some of the reports I've been hearing out of training camp, it hasn't really been the best. I feel like Coach Mike Tomlin is trying to cover it up. As he should. He's the head coach. But it hasn't been sounding the brightest. And this is from what I've seen, looking at some of the tape. It looks like Aaron Rodgers is force-feeding DK Metcalf. There's this one clip that's circulating of DK Metcalf. He had a check down route, and he had Freiermuth running a corner or some type of out route or something wide open, and he just force-fed DK Metcalf, and you see Freiermuth, he kind of just threw his hands up God, dog. So that's not a good look. And then we all seen the clip of Aaron Rodgers doing the drill, looking like a senior citizen, doing the cone drills, but I'm not going to take too much stock into that. Aaron Rodgers is a vet. I think he's not going to be terrible, but if you want my honest opinion, I do not think Aaron Rodgers is going to be good this year. I think he might, his age is going to show this year. It semi-showed with the Jets, but not to the degree I think it will this year. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good year, y'all. And adding to that point, I've been hearing a lot of reports of the O-line being quote-unquote in flux. So they have a lot of different moving pieces. It's not like somebody's set in stone. So they have a lot of switching pieces, a lot of players playing a lot of different positions, which could be a good thing, which could be a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. But I don't know. Coach Tomlin in the press conference said that they had to pick up some vets to also help out with the offensive line, and they also picked up a backup quarterback as well, because quarterback Will Howard out of Ohio State, he actually broke his finger. They're not expecting him to be out of the season or anything like that, but according to Tomlin, he's going to be week to week. That's why I keep saying you're going to see Mason Rudolph taking the snaps in the preseason game. With Tomlin and the Steelers picking up those vets, that's telling me that they lack experience. That they lack experience in that locker room, and that's not a good thing. It sounds like the Steelers is dealing with some injuries. A lot of the players that I listed earlier that are going to be sitting out, obviously it's because they're vets and we know what they can do. For example, DK Metcalf, we know what he can do. He does not have to play a preseason game. However, it does sound like this team is banged up a little. Like, I've seen reports that Calvin Austin III is nothing serious, but it sounds like he's a little banged up with a little lingering injury. So it sounds like Mike Tomlin is being very delicate with this team. And in a game of football, being delicate is not really a good thing. It sounds like he's running a senior citizens home over there. Like, Jalen Ramsey isn't old, but he's getting up there. DK Metcalf is no rookie. Aaron Rodgers is a million years old. Cam Hayward is getting no younger. TJ Watt is getting no younger. It just sounds like this team is starting to age a little bit. As for training camp practices, I've been seeing and hearing reports of the offense and defense kind of getting chippy, which shows that there's a level of division in that locker room. That's not a good thing. Like, it's football. Tempers are going to flare. Emotions are high. It's intense. But to straight up be fighting in the middle of practice is not a good thing. And Mike Tomlin is on record saying he does not want his players fighting in practice. So this is not looking good. So now let's focus in on the preseason game this Saturday. So as for who we might see, we may see linebacker Peyton Wilson going out there and taking that leadership role. He's kind of LB2, linebacker 2 to Patrick Queen, and they're expecting some big things out of him. I've heard reports saying that he's one of the best coverage linebackers in the league, that sideline-to-sideline linebacker, which is insane to hear out of a second-year player, but they said that he's a natural leader. He's kind of like the co-captain to Patrick Queen when it comes to that defense. So look out for him. So another young player that has been making noise during training camp for the Steelers is outside linebacker Jack Sawyer. They said that he's probably going to be the backup or maybe even on the other side of TJ Watt. Another defensive player that they've been high on is rookie defensive tackle Derek Harmon. That's another nice piece to put right next to Cam Hayward. So as I said, they're strengthening their strength. The Steelers have always been known for their defense. So you got TJ Watt, you got Jack Sawyer, you got Cam Hayward, you got Alex Highsmith, you got Joey Porter, you got Patrick Queen, you got Peyton Wilson, you got Jalen Ramsey. So the defense will still remain the defense, and the Steelers will have that hard-nosed, blue-collar defense that we all grown to love. Now for some of the young up-and-comers on the offensive side, like I said, it's not looking too good for quarterback rookie Will Howard out of Ohio State. They said that he broke his finger. It's nothing to the point to where they say that he'll need surgery, but it's still kind of bad news, especially with the preseason, so they can get a good look at him. We all know Mason Rudolph, bro. Like, we know Mason Rudolph. What do you want me to say about Mason Rudolph? There's not really much to say. I'm not expecting anything out of Mason Rudolph. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, I really hope Will Howard is healthy because I do not care to see Mason Rudolph. Another name that has been popping up is running back Caleb Johnson. They've been really high on him, saying that he can also be another good running back to put in that running back room to help out with Gainwell and Jaylen Warren. He's been having a really good camp, just being serviceable. They say that his pass blocking could use a little bit of tweaking, but they said that he'll also be an impactful piece in the offense. Another name that has been coming out is wide receiver Roman Wilson. He's been making plays throughout training camp, connecting with the backups, connecting with Aaron Rodgers on a couple of plays. So look for him to also be in that wide receiver rotation and, to relieve some of the pressure off of DK Metcalf, because as far as I'm concerned, outside of DK Metcalf, Freiermuth, and Calvin Austin III, who else do they have? All right, now that I've done kind of trashing the Steelers, let's move over to the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people are kind of expecting some big things out of them. And you kind of have to, because how much worse can you get than 4-13? Like, come on now. I had the privilege to actually go out to the training camp. I'm gonna show you guys some clips as I'm talking. But the Jags, on the other hand, I feel like they're not no world beaters. Do not get me wrong. Please do not get me wrong. But they've been looking a lot sharper than they have before. I think Liam Cohen and the offense that he ran in Tampa, that what he's bringing to Jacksonville is really going to help, especially get the ball in some of the playmakers' hands. Like, you got Travis Hunter, of course. You got ETN that's out of the backfield as well. You got BTJ that's going into his second year that they're looking to make a big leap as well. Like, they have a lot of good pieces on the offensive side of the ball. Now, a sleeper player that a lot of my fantasy people may need to look into is running back Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby kind of came on at the end of last season as kind of taking that role as RB1, especially when ETN got hurt. And me personally, I like his running style. He's north-south. He's going to run you over, but he can also outrun you if he needs to as well. ETN, sometimes he has trouble holding on to the ball. Sometimes he runs sideline to sideline, not getting those extra yards. So look out for Tank Bigsby. He may become RB1. Another player that I'm expecting a big year out of is wide receiver Parker Washington. From what I've seen with my own eyes, he looks like he's going to be that possession receiver. Like, when you need a third down conversion, he's the guy to go to. I like a lot what I've seen from him. Another player, obviously, is Brenton Strange. He's a big body. He has great hands. He's more of like, he's one of those tight ends that could also pass over as a receiver. He's just a little bit bigger, but they're looking for him to have a big year, especially replacing Evan Ingram. Now let's talk about the man that everybody's been raving about. First round, second pick, Travis Hunter. So with my own two eyes, from what I've seen, he's the real deal, y'all. He's the real deal. The hype isn't fake, but he's a real deal. He's a natural catcher. Like, he has great body control. He can naturally adjust in the air. He has soft hands. In my personal opinion, I think he's going to be more effective on the receiver side, more so than DB. But we talking about the Jags, so they need all the help they can get, to be truly honest. But Travis looks really good, y'all. Like, his energy on the field during practice is almost childlike in a good way. Like, he's bringing, like, you know, some energy to the team, and I think it's rubbing off on a lot of people. Y'all seen the clip where Trevor was talking about which side would he rather him play on, and he said it straight up. Would you rather be catching touchdowns or, you know, get a pass breakup every now and then? When you put it like that, I think he should play receiver. As for the defensive side, they still got Josh Hines-Allen, that's a dog. They still got Trayvon Walker, that's still a dog. But the player that I'm going to be looking out for the most is Tyson Campbell. Tyson Campbell, he looks healthy and he looks big. That's a big corner right there. And what I liked out of him from what I've seen with my own two eyes, he was on Brian Thomas Jr. every single rep. And I like that because, you know the saying, iron sharpens iron. So I really like seeing that out of him. Another defensive player that I'm expecting big things out of is defensive back Jordan Lewis. So it's kind of been making its wave around Jags media, but I've seen it as well. Jordan Lewis had this incredible pick off of Trevor Lawrence. He had an incredible pick. I still do not know how he made that catch, but it was one of those picks where it was a questionable throw by Trevor, but the catch that he actually made is insane. Like, we all seen Jordan Lewis highlight. His main highlight coming out of college was that crazy interception that he had. So look out for Jordan Lewis as being that DB too. And speaking of DBs, of course, we got to talk about Travis. So on the depth chart, he's listed as the third defensive back. But what that tells me is that he could possibly be that other outside corner while Lewis plays that slot position, that slot corner position. So I don't know how much they're going to factor him in to the defense because of the reps that he'll be getting in on offense. But I like what I've been seeing out of the DBs. What I've been seeing at safety is that they have a good rotation going. It's not like somebody's the set starter. So yeah, they'll have the set starters go out there. Like, you got Wingard out there. He's running out there being as one of the starters. But how the way it looks like starters by committee. They keep rotating different players out and just keeping the safeties fluid. I don't know if that's necessarily an evaluation thing or if that's just how they're going to operate their defense. So out of the quarterback position, I'm expecting big things out of Trevor Lawrence, man. Like, he had a lot of hype coming out of college, coming out of Clemson, and rightfully so because he balled out. But I feel like he hasn't lived up to the Trevor Lawrence name, so I'm expecting some big things out of him. According to some of the insiders that I talked to while I was there, they're expecting a big year out of him, and they said this has been one of his sharpest training camps since he's been with the Jaguars. He has pieces. You got Travis Hunter, you got BTJ, you got ETN, you got Tank Bigsby. You got pieces. So outside of maybe some issues with the O-line, you kind of don't have any excuse of why you're not producing. So now that we got all of that out of the way, let's actually talk about the preseason games. So for the actual preseason game, we actually got some big news out of head coach Liam Cohen and various reports on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Liam Cohen actually plans on playing the starters. So we're going to see Trevor, we're going to see Travis, we're going to see Trayvon Walker, we're going to see everybody that you would expect to see on a regular Sunday. How long that will be for, I'm not too sure. But seeing that is some huge news. For some of the players to look out for after the starters come out, we're obviously going to have maybe Nick Mullins at quarterback, and I've seen him make some throws at training camp. He actually looks pretty decent. Like, he does not look bad at all. I think he'll be a pretty good backup. He's a vet, so it's nothing new to him. But one name I did want to bring up in terms of the up-and-comers is wide receiver Joseph Cephas. I've been seeing a lot of good things from him. Like, he's a big body. He made a couple great plays that I've seen with my own eyes. So I think he's going to be a big player in that wide receiver room. Another player to look out for is number 15, Brayboy. I'm not sure what his first name is, but it's number 15. His name is Brayboy. He's undrafted out of Elon. I see him make some pretty good catches too. He had one pretty good catch not too long ago, one of the training camp days that I was at. So he may be a good up-and-comer to look out for in the preseason game as well. Another person that I think is going to get some good reps during the preseason game is running back out of West Virginia, Tootin. I don't know what his first name is, but he's number 33. And he's fast, man. He's a little bit on the smaller side, but he's like that scat back. He can catch, he can run, he runs hard, he runs fast. The only issue is, like I said, with the Steelers running back, Caleb Johnson, it is some of the pass blocking, but that's only due to because of his size. On the defensive side, look out for number 49, Muma. He had him a good training camp from the 2 days that I was there. He had him a bat down on one of the passes, and then the day after that, he had him a sack on Nick Mullins as well. So he looks like he's about to step up and, you know, be a player in this defense. So look out for Muma. But that's going to do it for me in terms of the research and the reports that I've seen. So now let's move on to the expectations for what I'm expecting from each team. As I said for the Jags, how much worse can you get than 4-13, bro? Like, if you want my honest opinion, I think that they can win this division. The Texans is banged up. They're going to be without Tank Dell. They just lost Stephon Diggs to the Patriots. That defense is still there, obviously, so that obviously is going to be a factor. But I think the Jags could honestly win this division. I'm not worried about the Colts. The Titans are still young, even though I think highly of Cam Ward, but I think just not yet. So I think this is the year for the Jags to take this division. As for the Steelers, man, I think it's going all downhill from here, man. Like, I hate to say it, like I said, head coach Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach, but I think this might be his last stint, and this team that he has right now is not going to help his case. Aaron Rodgers looks old. They don't have enough receivers. The defense is still the defense, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Like, they finished second in the AFC North last year. If they're not better than the Browns, they may mess around and finish last. So we'll see what happens. But that's going to do it for my Week 2 preseason breakdown between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. In terms of who I think will win this game, I know last video I said you're kind of a degenerate if you're betting on this game, but I'm not going to lie. I'm betting on this game, and if you couldn't tell, I'm betting on the Jags. What other reason would I bet on the Steelers? They're not playing anybody. The ones for the Jags are going to play. And even when the ones for the Jags come out, I like some of the young players that they have that will come into that preseason game. I already checked the betting odds on Hard Rock Bet. The Jags are a minus 230, and today is Thursday. So by the time this video is released, or even by the time Saturday rolls around, that may grow. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please leave a like on this video, leave a comment, and please also subscribe. Make sure you guys also follow me on Instagram at ElijahJamesTV. I'm going to be bringing you guys way more content. We got some UFC fights coming up. NFL season, Week 1 is right around the corner. So we're going to get this thing rolling, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time.